Alright, hello everybody. We are having ourselves a little bit of a Zulu weekend. And it is, I guess, the anniversary. I don't know if it's 200 years or something, but I've seen something on there. And I've always wanted to watch these movies. I've been a big fan of it. I've seen clips from both movies, but uh, we started out with the movie made in 1979 about Islawana. That was the first battle, but it was made later. And then we started watching the one made in 1964, Zulu. But yeah, we're having this little Zulu weekend. And let me see if we can't get over here. This is also, we're having us a, there you go, little documentary. And this guy here that does this is really good. This is a great documentary on just numbers and what really happened. And he says that, when you look at the initial numbers, you're wondering how the heck the British did it. But a key segment to the battle was the size of these walls. He had those bags. I don't know what they were, feed bags or something, stacked pretty high. I think it was higher than 6-7 foot. So that's where you can see where the wave of Zulus hits that wall, and they're backed up. They couldn't. I read somewhere where they couldn't go over it. They were pretty well trying to go underneath it or fire through the sandbags or something like that. So, yeah, it was crazy. But we're having us a little Zulu weekend. Also, hold on a second here.
Significantly.
I want to give a shout out to the old MHN, MilitaryHistoryNow.com. Go there and you will be able to see all about my game of Central America and how the soccer game led to an armed conflict between El Salvador and Honduras, 1969. And you get to see here what's going on. Basically, I can, compact it down for you. El Salvador is a small country, very densely populated. Honduras, a bigger country, not that densely populated. El Salvadorans were migrating over the border, setting up farms and stuff like that at the resentment of the Hondurans. Finally, the Honduran government gave the land that the El Salvadoran refugees or migrants set up as their farms to the big landowners, I guess, in Honduras. And that caused a lot of tension. And that spilled over into the soccer games, where they had 3 games. I think El Salvador ended up winning 2 out of 3. And there were tensions in the stands, of course, and it spilled over into the streets because of the political situation on the border or between the two countries. And we don't get into football or what they call football, we call soccer. I do see how the whole world's nuts about it, except the United States. We don't. I mean, I guess you get your fanatics about everything, but there was an 18-year-old girl, El Salvadoran girl, that shot herself, committed suicide over a game loss or something, and the president made her a national martyr and had demonstrations, had a broadcast her funeral live on TV, just making a huge fervor in El Salvador. Then after the conclusion of a game in Mexico City, where El Salvador, I think, won in overtime, the next day, the president severed relations with Honduras and sent his troops over the border. Oh my God. So this tells you pretty much about it. This is pretty cool. This is really cool here. Let's give a little shout out to this place here, what they're showing about the demonstrations. And I think this scenario precedes the opening scenario. So, yeah, we're actually going back in time from, I guess, the 70s to the 60s. So here you go. It just tells you all about it. It tells you about the old planes that were used. And they had to actually hire, I think San Salvador or Honduras hired some American pilots to operate these old planes. And we'll have some of these planes in the scenario, too. But they struck at El Salvador's ports. And we'll get big points for that, as you'll see here in a second. But, yeah. A little bit of background on the football/soccer war in Central America. Way back. Okay, we are back at the table getting ready for our soccer/football war scenario. And here's the situation. El Salvadoran units are in blue, Honduran are in purple. Orange markers are victory cities, victory spots, victory condition areas. You have to capture those, get victory points. White spots are El Salvadoran ports that the Honduran player will get points for if he can launch some of these old air units, A-37s. And I'm going to get some bombardment points. I think that 1A number in the lower left is the bombardment factor. I think that A means I can double that, but that's only 2 factors. If I want to move all 3 of those in there, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, that'd be 6 to go for those ports. So I'd have to look at the table and see what that does. My opponent has already made the move. I am the Hondurans, and he is the El Salvadorans. Unfortunately, everybody around this house has been walking around sick for the last month. My poor, beautiful girlfriend has been hit ever since Christmas, actually. That poor girl. But, and I mean, they're falling left and right around here. Everybody's sick. But I haven't got anything. But I did wake up this morning under the weather. But I think I'll be over it after a day or so. So we're going to take it a little bit easy here. I want to get over there, some Empire of the Sun, having a great time. But my opponent here is back. We're ready to start anew. And he's got his moves already. This guy's ready to go, which is always great in an opponent. So my goal is to induce another rage quit. We'll see how many moves we can do here. Now he's got his first moves going on. That unit that I turned sideways, he started over there, I think in hex 12, 10 or something. But in the scenario rules, he has to end his turn there. So I just turned him sideways. You can see there, it's a 3-turn game. Nothing really major. They're starting us off now. In this scenario, we're starting off with scenario 1, 2. They're definitely gradually getting you used to units. So first scenario, we had 1 helicopter unit. Now this scenario here, we're using air units and stuff like that. And then eventually we'll get up into more anti-aircraft units, AWACS, and then you'll come into what's called the intervention game. I think that's where you might bring in Soviet and U.S. units. That's where it starts getting good. Right now, we're still at the old conventional game rules of play, which is fine. I also kind of want to grow with the game. Old Mark Herman, and I guess I don't know who the original. Oh, I think it was McQuaid. I'm sorry there, Mr. Mark. I think Mark Herman just improved on it. The original design is James H. McQuaid. So there you go. But we got a couple of old Mr. Herman's games set up here. And we're all really excited about going on to this game. We'll have to see what's going on with our opponent's move. Now, he does have an air unit in San Salvador. And I read about this in an article. It's an old AC-47 civilian plane that they converted into a bomber. So we got planes from World War II in these third world countries. And we'll see what we can do. Now, I do have my air group based up here. And I did see, after I based them, I thought they had a good range. I got a 20 hex range. Then I'm within range here, but I'm 1 hex short of this port. I didn't realize that till after we started the game, which is fine. I almost told my opponent I wanted to move it for setup. But what we can do is just go ahead. We'll get us some victory points with hopefully some bombing runs within the ones at range, and then we return to an airfield. We'll return to one of these that are a little bit closer than within range. But that's what's going on. Orange spots, victory points, victory areas, victory point areas. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but yeah, we can see here they're probably going to go for an attack. Now, another thing is supply runs out real quick. None of these guys are really worth a hoot. You can see we got these little chump changers. A lot of them are already taking hits. We'll see what's up. What we can do with it. It's just a matter of victory points. Either though, it's a chess game. Whether it's a small chess game or a big chess game, it's a chess game. And hopefully we can, like I said, induce another rage quit by my opponent. If not, we'll do it the right way. And add up victory points at the end. We'll be back with Central America and the soccer war.